I'm trapped between love and family, struggling to decide whether I should stay with my husband who always chooses his overbearing mother, or walk away from a marriage that feels like a nightmare. I never imagined that my life would come to this. A few months ago, I was in a pretty comfortable relationship with my husband. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but nothing that made me feel like we were falling apart. But now, I'm sitting here, questioning everything, wondering if I should stay or leave him. And it's all because of one person, my mother-in-law. When my husband and I first got married, we were doing great. We lived in a cozy apartment, just the two of us. But then, my in-laws' house was sold, and they needed somewhere to stay. I told my husband that I didn't mind if they moved in for a while as long as it was temporary. I thought it would be fine. I really thought it would be fine. But it wasn't. From the moment my mother-in-law stepped into our house, everything changed. I could see it in her eyes, the way she looked around, like she was surveying the place for her territory. My husband, being the good son that he is, didn't see the problem. He thought it would be a short stay, just a couple of months at most, but that was before I realized what a nightmare it would become. At first, it was little things. She'd criticize how I folded the towels or how I cooked dinner. I thought it was just her being a bit overbearing, but then it escalated. "Sweetie, you really should use more salt in the soup. It's too bland," she would say, her voice dripping with that faux sweetness that grated my nerves. I'd smile politely and nod. "I think it tastes fine, Mom." She'd huff and shake her head. "You need to do it my way. That's how it's done." It wasn't just the cooking. She'd go on about how I should decorate the living room or how I should clean the house. Every single time I did anything, she would find something wrong with it. "Why did you put the couch there? It looks awkward," she'd say, rearranging everything as though she lived here for years. "You should do it like this. Trust me." I was so tired of hearing that. Tired of being told I didn't know how to run my own home. It was like I was being suffocated by her presence. But the worst part? My husband didn't see it. He never did. He'd come home from work, and I'd complain. "She's driving me crazy, babe. She keeps telling me how to do everything." But he'd just shrug. "She's my mom, okay? You have to understand. She's just trying to help." "Help?" I'd exclaim, throwing my hands up in frustration. "She's not helping. She's taking over our house." He'd sigh, rubbing his temples. "I get it, but just try to be patient. It's not forever." That was the thing. Every time I asked him to understand how I felt, he just brushed it off. He always took her side. And as time went on, I could feel the distance growing between us. I couldn't even have a conversation with him without her butting in, offering her unsolicited advice. One day, everything just came to a head. I had been cleaning the kitchen when I heard her voice again, telling me I was doing it wrong. This time, I snapped. "No, Mom, I'm doing it my way, not yours," I said, slamming the sponge down on the counter. "Why can't you just leave me alone for once?" She looked at me with wide, shocked eyes. "I was just trying to help, but if you want to do it that way, fine." "Don't help me," I shouted, feeling the heat of anger rise in my chest. "I can take care of myself. I've been doing it long before you moved in." My husband walked in just then, looking between us. "What's going on here?" I threw up my hands in frustration. "She's been criticizing me nonstop. I can't do anything right and you just stand there and let it happen." His gaze shifted to his mom. She was giving him that pleading look, the one that always made him weak in the knees. "Mom's just trying to help," he said, his voice calm. "You know she means well." "Well, I don't need her help," I yelled. "I don't need anyone constantly telling me how to live my life. I married you, not her." My husband flinched at that. "What are you saying? Are you seriously saying you want to leave me over this?" I opened my mouth to respond, but I could feel the tears building up. "You always take her side. You always protect her. It's like I'm not even part of this family." My mother-in-law had the audacity to step forward then, her voice full of venom. "You're the one causing problems, not me. If you just listened to me, everything would be better." That's when I lost it. I turned to my husband, feeling like I was about to break. "I can't do this anymore. I can't. I don't want to live like this. If you're always going to choose your mother over me, then maybe we're better off apart." His face drained of color. "Please. Please don't leave me." I was at a crossroads, not knowing what to do. My husband looked torn, but in that moment I felt so alone. I needed him to stand up for me, but he couldn't. "Are you going to kick your mother out?" I asked, my voice low and shaky. He didn't answer right away. He just stood there, looking at me with guilt in his eyes. I don't know if I can do that. She needs us." I felt my heart break. "I need you too." Now, he's been talking about whether to move his parents out or not, and I don't know what to do. I don't want to live like this, but I don't know if I can walk away from my marriage either. I've been putting up with this for so long, but I'm reaching my breaking point. I don't know what's worse, living with his mother and sacrificing my own happiness, or leaving him and wondering if things could ever be fixed. The only thing I'm sure of is that I can't keep living in this toxic environment, but I also don't know if I'm strong enough to leave him. I just need to figure out what's best for me. But right now, everything feels so uncertain. Should I stay and hope things will change, or should I leave and start over?